Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Tirgunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Stithi Prakarana, section 56. Negation of body identification as well as the negation of the world process. The same theme of Yoga Vasistha. Can't expect anything else. Sri Vasishtha continued, O Rama, having ascertained the fact that this world does not exist, you should negate the sense of I-ness and mine-ness with reference to the objects of the world. This is a subtle message behind every mantra. Mantra always ends with Namah. And the implication of Namah is neither me nor mine. All is divine. So where is the place for me and mine? And that you recognize when that type of feeling you develop with your mantra. As well as whenever people meet, they do namaskar. That's the Hindu tradition of adorations, salutations. But term used, namaskar, namaste. Namah is the basis, implying neither me nor mine. Which means nothing negative about it. Me nor mine, all is divine. You see. With divine there is no problem. With me and mine there are lots of problems. Because every soul has its me and mine. And what's very dear to you is not dear to others. In other words, neither should you be identified with the shifting ego center sustained by numerous thoughts of the mind. Your ego and countless thoughts, they go together. If ego is not there, the thoughts will not be there. If thoughts go away, ego will not be there. Nor should you be identified with the objects of the world, considering them as your possessions. Objects remain completely outside of you. But then, when mind begins to build up relationship with objects, or the idea that object is a source of your happiness, sometimes an object is not directly pleasant for you, but your baby likes it. Well, baby doesn't like it, but nephew likes it. Nephew doesn't like it, cousin likes it. So I'm giving you a broad understanding. You are not simply dealing with your own likes and dislikes, but you has become split up, where those who are near and dear ones, they become you in a secondary sense. So therefore, attention has to go towards real I am, not ego-based illusion. Me and mine is ego-based. And ego, when you look for ego, it doesn't exist. Simple way to understand, when you dream, while dreaming, nothing seems abnormal. Everything is perfectly normal, perfectly real. But all the involvement in dream, pleasure, pain, friendly development, inimical development, past, present, and future, all that, nothing is real. When do you know it? When you wake up from the dream. So, suppose you have intellectually, while dreaming, somebody has given you that insight that it is all dream. But now your mind deals with how long it will take for this dream to go away. And don't realize that that thinking itself is a dream. So you come into a tricky situation. That point has to be understood. And therefore, while you are building up your desire for attaining enlightenment, be detached even from your desire. Because that desiring process is in the dream world. And that becomes a subtle point, and we will go on developing it. This visible world is neither existent nor non-existent, nor a blend of both. This is what Vedanta calls it anirvachaniya, indescribable. You want to evaluate the world and you ask, is it real? If you suddenly say not real, then you are misleading the person. If it is not real, you shouldn't even speak of it. Because the person who said it was not real either. But that doesn't happen. So, now you can't remove Sat. Something is there. But at the same time, even dream goes on changing. You don't have to completely wake up. When a dream changes its layer from one illusion to another, things that were real become unreal. Things that were so desirable, with change in your vasana, now they become undesirable. And there comes a time neither desirable nor undesirable. But all these variations go on. Behind all that is pure consciousness, creating all the drama. It's like through a projection, when you watch a dramatic show, sometimes there is show within the show. The show itself brings you a story where a family is watching TV. And they become so involved with TV and its news that now they are being led by, and you are watching it. You are watching the people. But they are watching the people what they are watching. And if your mind is more imaginative, think of TV within TV, dream within the dream. And that's the predicament of human mind. The layers of illusion within illusion. So it is not an easy matter. And all this big matter is to be resolved by brain and thin nerves. A shocking situation. But not so shocking. Behind all that, the reality is the divine self, Brahman. So that Brahman has to become highlighted in your movement in a mature way. The self alone is the reality. Therefore, do not be identified with the world. First stage in this movement, more important, is do not be identified with your body. Your body is in 3 stages: physical body, subtle body, causal body. Allow your mind to deal with it. Physical body is an instrument. That's not you. You are operating through the physical body. If physical body is you, you should be grieving day by day because your physical body doesn't stay. The body with which you were sent by God. I'm joking. The body with which you came in the world, that body doesn't exist at all. Even your physical body goes on changing. People make so much for the body after death, but you must realize which body you are caring for. Every 6-7 years, your whole body has gone completely dumped. And a completely new body has emerged. That type of understanding must enter the mind, suave, gently, not feeling miserable about it, but feeling joyous about it. That you are not the body, therefore you are not dealing with mortality. No matter whatever may be the condition of your body, you are untouched by it. Simple illustration, your deep sleep, no matter whatever might have been your day and problems, in deep, deep sleep, all moves away. Implying that's your deepest, that's the reality. But to bring that reality to be a source of your constant awareness, that requires your spiritual movement, bhakti and jnana. First stage, bhakti, devotion. So no matter how things happen, always have a feeling or a deep insight that you are being handled by God. By God's grace, all things that you are facing will be handled beyond your imagination. But that doesn't mean that you are being discouraged from doing your self-effort. If you don't do your self-effort, then your prayer is simply palabra. It doesn't have any vitality. But doing all your effort, because your effort, your resources, they are within the view of God operating through you. If you are not using what the gifts He has given to you, and you simply praying, understand, you are not really moving towards God. So though it seems, if I love God and surrender to God, then I have nothing to do with you. But it's the other way around. If you have loved God, then you must love everything He has given to you. And every opportunity you must utilize, because He is behind it. So coming back to the topic, physical body is an instrument. You are not the body. Your body constantly goes on changing, and led by karma, your body can go on coming back, body after body after body. Next body is your subtle body. Subtle bodies, vital forces, pranas, your senses, your mind, your intellect, your ego, all this set is subtle. That body is your profounder body. And yet you are not all that. You may have the best of intellect, but intellect is only an equipment. The real you is not the intellect. Intellect provides an entertainment, just like sometimes people have magnifying telescopes and see amazing things. But no matter what you see, move the equipment away, you cannot live with the equipment all the time. The reality in you is not working through intellect. And as I have explained, ego is not reality. The concept, when you accomplish something, say, I have accomplished. But when you ask yourself, what is that I? You will realize even the smallest little things you can't accomplish. Your eyes are very small, but something goes wrong, you can't accomplish. And yet you constantly glorify your eyes. These are my eyes. So, try to understand which eye you are dealing with. The eye that has created your body, your brain, all things around you, the whole world for you, that eye has created. Are you that eye, or this little foolish eye that doesn't know anything, but goes on pointing fingers, this is mine, this is mine. Easily said, but that's a profound highlight of spiritual sadhana. Shifting your attention from your ego to real I am. And for easy understanding, understand 3 stages. First stage, view your personality as a channel in divine hand. Deha buddhyatu dasoham. From body point of view, Hanuman, this was how Rama had asked Hanuman, how am I related to you? And Hanuman answered, Deha buddhyatu dasoham. To the extent I view myself as body, I am your slave. The body and the body's world, this whole world, is all created by God. And all that you are doing is channelizing yourself, becoming an instrument in divine hand. So do not let your mind go on building up stress. Do your thing and leave the stress for God to enjoy it. And also understand that surrender to God becomes the mantra for your living your life in a joyous way. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. Once heavenward, here heaven means God. Heavenward movement has started. All else shall be added unto it. If you don't look at all else, what will happen? I'm going to heaven, but all else? All else will come together automatically. Turning the attention to the world you enjoy with your human life, is that the world to be really desired forever? And your mind is so trapped with this world. But that's the disease that's led by ignorance. What is the duration of human life compared to the boundless expansion of eternity? Think of all overview of life that you are living. What is your goal? People simply say, oh, give me health, wealth, long life. But how long? Will that be really fulfilling? Then your mind stretches its imagination. All right, give me at least 100 years. Shatayu. But put it in a very simple way, your life, even if you have lived your life very joyously, with amazing success, for whole 100 years, not a day less. Has that given you complete fulfillment? Because now we have to ask, all the 100 years of good time has gone. What should I do now? So all your mental concept of enjoying the world through time, space, causation, all that concept is very foolish. What's the duration of human life compared to the boundless expansion of eternity? Knowing yourself to be the eternal self, do not become identified with the apparent personality that lasts only for a few years. One side, eternity, the same energy, the same time, the same eagerness to live your life. Now, under good guidance, will enable you to discover, realize, I am not this mortal personality. I am that am I, that which is the reality behind the entire universe. That Brahman enfolds the entire universe, nothing is left out, and transcends it. I am that. The human mind doesn't grasp it well, otherwise it is something of immense joy, and it will create a tremendous eagerness to attain that goal. If someone were to tell you, look, you have forgotten your hereditary heritage, we have found a secret book. It says you have $10,000 hidden in a certain place. I'm giving ordinary thought. So you are not so poor. The moment you hear it, your mind gets excited. But when you are told you are Brahman, the Absolute, beyond birth and death, your wealth is eternal bliss. And mind stays. Untouched. So that's where the important point. Live your life with integral yoga. You have to go on developing spiritual sensitivity. So mind begins to be fascinated by listening to teachings of the Gita, the Upanishads, of great sages, of profound teachings from any religion. That becomes your inner addiction. And when that has developed, then that revelation, I am, all this, is handled by your mind with a sense of profound ecstasy. And also with immense profundity. When ocean is told, you are the biggest, ocean doesn't begin to dance. That's what I mean by profound. I am Brahman does not create agitation in your personality. It creates a sense of profundity, a sense of steadiness, stability. In simple terms, all the world experience that soul enjoys, all the world experience is called alpam. the English word little, which implies nothing. Little is a tricky word. Just as the sun that sustains all the activities upon this earth remains detached from it, in the same way the self, while sustaining the entire world process, remains absolutely detached from it. Try to understand what is the source of all your experience. The source of all your experience is pure awareness. Your awareness is split up. Awareness of objects that are experienced by your senses. Awareness that is experienced through your feelings. Awareness experienced through your thoughts and imaginations. Awareness has become split up into so many ways. Just like the same sunlight expresses itself as rainbow, as shimmering clouds, as shining leaves in the forest, as shimmer on the ocean. Same sun has become all this. If you are interested in reality, you don't go on collecting the data of the sun on the basis of all these illuminations. But simply look at the sun, take a picture, share it with others. It is the same sun has become all that. Now put it in a different way. All that you do, accomplish, all the ideas you have brought out, all you have accomplished, all the things that you have done, and your life being experienced bodily, psychologically, based on sentiments, based on your understanding, all that put together. We're not adding it up like mathematics, these are all illusions. Source behind all this is the Atma, the self, the light of lights. And what's more, the source that is in you, that source contains the entire universe. Because even your idea that I am an individual in a world of so many people, cosmos, all that is within your own brain. Is that not the reality? What you consider reality is a work of your mind operating through the human nervous system. If you had different type of nervous system, you will be experiencing differently. But that's going into too much distraction. The idea is that all that you are experiencing from life to life is nothing but pure consciousness. All souls are experiencing, birds, animals, trees, whomsoever, all that they are experiencing is same pure consciousness. That pure consciousness is Brahman, the Absolute. So, even while sustaining all this, the sun remains detached. Similarly, the consciousness, absolute consciousness, expressing through all types of world process, the appearance of the world. The world experience is mirage. That absolute self remains untouched. Put it in simple way, you see the reflected sun in every jar of water. All reflected suns are different personalities. Each one has a story. But the reality behind all reflected suns is the sun. And the sun has nothing to do with all their stories. Each reflected sun has gone through many challenges. Every moment is a challenge. A fish in the water shakes the reflected sun. With countless challenges going on every moment. And the reality behind each reflected sun has nothing to do with it. All the challenges in your life, all great miseries and adversities and most terrifying situations, they are like dream experience. This point has to be understood. This is not a matter of faith. It's a matter of rational understanding. And a simpler simile is given by sages. Look at the sky. How many things happen through the sky? Every day people look up. It's going to be a cloudy day, will it be a sunny day, it will be a good day, it's a stormy day. The sky remains untouched. To human beings, lots of things have happened looking up to the sky. The sky untouched, unscratched. That sky-like I am, that's the reality in every individual. That's the reality behind all things. So, as I was explaining what Hanuman said, from physical point of view, you are a slave. God is the master. From subtler point of view, to the extent you are a jiva, a reflected self, you are a ray. God is like the sun, because every reflection is caused by a ray of the sun. And from the absolute point of view, from the point of view of the innermost self, you are same as God. God alone is. All these three aspects have to be assimilated in daily life. Just as a person who knows the illusoriness of a mirage, although afflicted with intense thirst, does not run after it. In the same way, having understood the illusoriness of the world, you will not seek happiness through its perishable objects. These are broad statements which simply imply that, first point, even though you are told the world is illusory, you cannot grasp it in one movement. The process will be progressive. As your mind goes on developing a maturer understanding, you go on moving away from layers and layers of illusion until your intellect becomes intuitional. The whole process must work out. But the process works out under the mantra, nothing exists. All this must move away. That's your goal. Assert within yourself, I am the self that shines in all. That's now giving you a healthy way of exercising your understanding, your intellect. What's known as sadvichar. Vichar is reflection. Exercising the mind to understand the reality. Reality is Sat. And when you exercise the mind, that practice is called vichar. Vichar that leads you to Sat. That's called sadvichar. That's profounder meaning. Otherwise, any good thought is a satvichar. But Satvichar is associated with Sat-bhavana. Your feeling of love should not go after shadows. Go after the reality. The shadows should inspire you to turn your attention to reality. So your bhavana, your feeling goes into the world, finds lot of near and dear ones. But your bhavana remains shaky and brings lots of trouble because your feeling is not sadbhavana, asadbhavana. Your bhavana is going after superficialities. They are not going after reality. Put it in a very advanced way. The goal before every family, every individual, to understand when you are experiencing loving feeling, loving atmosphere. It is not coming from people around you, coming from God. People around you, they are instruments of God. This doesn't mean that you will shock the people saying, oh, it's coming from God. No. You will develop a lot of kindness, compassion, pure love. What I'm leading you to understand the difference between moha and love. Moha is deluded love. In deluded love, you don't care for what will happen to the person whom you are loving, as long as he is there, trapped in your room. Get out of that delusion progressively to understand that when you understand profounder love, you help people to that extent that they become free of any dependence. Profounder love can be expressed by jnana yajna, sharing knowledge with others. And that profounder love expresses in practical world as the most ideal relationship. So, you have moved away, you are moving away from moha to prem. Moha-based bhavana is asat bhavana. And it turns to durbhavana. Durbhavana means crooked feeling. Feeling that causes lot of troubles, demoniac feeling. And come to another level, we talk about sat karma or kukarma. Kukarma is negative actions. Sat karma, actions you perform with the spirit of karma yoga for purifying your heart, and purity of heart brings revelation of the self. So karma becomes sat karma. Kukarma, you are creating karmic bondage, and therefore you have to maintain the body-mind complex that will give you experience of repeated embodiments. That's a world process. He who has a deep-rooted awareness that he is not the doer of any action. That's what the Upanishad poses the question. Who is the knower? Who is the doer? Who is the seer? Who is the experiencer? And the answer lies, first you go through a whole series to understand. The world cannot be experienced unless you have senses. But the senses will not accomplish their work unless there is a mind behind them. Mind will not accomplish its own work unless there is an intellect that evaluates. An intellect has its source in a cosmic source, Brahman. So then, who is doing the seeing work? Who is doing listening? Who is doing any work at all through your personality? Ego jumps up and says, I did that. But who are you? Ask the ego. Where do you live? As long as you don't ask, ego goes on dominating you. But asking is a spiritual process of enquiry. Assert within yourself, I am the self that abides in all. I am the non-doer, non-enjoyer, Atma. In other words, bring the picture of deep sleep in your mind and jump into it without sleeping. And the affirmation is preparing you for that type of experience. Affirmation, I am not the doer. I am not the enjoyer. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. If you have that type of vision promoted by this type of affirmation, You will not be tainted by virtue or vice. You will not be involved with karma. Then when the chitta, mental process, is free from subtle desires, you attain absolute dispassion, paravairagya, implying the entire world continues to, from practical point of view, the world continues to exist, giving you different types of experiences. But at your deeper level, it's absolute quiet. You are gone to sleep. The sky continues to allow all sounds, but the sky in its deeper level doesn't know anything about it. Calm. He who has a deep-rooted awareness that he is not the doer of any action, for him there is nothing to be accepted or rejected. That's at a deeper level. Accepted, rejected, not to be. In the practical level, you follow a different rule. Use your head, whether you should accept it or reject it. Someone is giving you poisonous drink. It doesn't look like poisonous, it looks very refreshing. You have to reject it. Reject and accept must continue in practical world. But when we say stay balanced in both, your mind must not go on shaking because of situations that you face. A day is cloudy, your mind should not develop all negative feelings. Oh, it's a cloudy day. I'll catch cold. Pneumonia is waiting for turn into flu. On the other hand, smile. How many trees are going to be so happy, they are going to dance. Many animals and birds are going to have very wonderful experience. All these are to prepare your mind for samadhan, tranquility. No matter how things happen, once you understand that it's in the hands of God, your mind remains completely untouched, without any worry, anxiety, without going into this shouldn't have been like that, oh God, this should have been the other way around. Samadhan level, that's illustrated by Ramayana. When Rama is being given the kingdom, and then very next day he is banished. Prasannatam yana gata abhishekata. His cheerful face didn't become elated when he was told he was going to be the heir apparent to the throne, he will be the king. And when he was told he is banished, it didn't change. That state of mind based on wisdom, that's called That's the ideal, that's the enlightened mind. That's the goal of all sadhana, goal of all religions. With that mind, you become enfolded by God, you become eternity, immortality. You have gained the highest treasure, beyond measure. The attitude, I am this body-mind, I am the doer of my action. All this arises out of deluded vision. And as long as you are holding this vision, there is no absolute fulfillment. This vision is a path leading to the worst of all hells. It is a source of misery and sorrow. O Rama, may you endeavor to renounce the body idea and become detached from the body, just as it is disgusting for a Brahmin to touch the meat of a dog. In the same way, let this body idea be rejected by says Vasishtha has no limits. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.